Hello, Renee Flamond here. You guys, this topic regarding the narcissist's own truth and the shame that they do feel, they don't feel guilt, they say, but they can feel shame. And they're not down for being self-aware at all, but they know their behavior is gross. They definitely know this is why they flip out when you, me, we are trying to bring something up and point it out or bring to light, look, I found this, you did this. They refuse to see. And you bringing that up is making them see. And of course, they have a million excuses as to why they did it and all of this business. And that's why. They won't see the truth about themselves. If you did find something that they did, they're going to say, well, you did such and such, or you were ignoring me that day, or, they have an excuse. They won't see it as their own truth. They know they're disgusting creatures the way they roam the earth. But outwardly, they're going to propel a grandiose, better than everybody persona, and they certainly don't want their peers finding out the horrible things they did to you. Oh my God, not ever. They treat certain people a certain way, and they get a victim in their clutch, they're going to treat that person a certain way. But the people, you often probably have people around your narcissist who think they're just all that. They're funny, they're magnanimous, they're just all that. And then you have some that definitely learn to catch on. And that's why they say the narcissist ends up alone, but I went around the circle with 3 tangents to get back to what I was saying. When you bring up things to the narcissist, and it could lead to shame that they feel for what they did, they don't want you to look any more inward, and they don't want you to learn any more truth about them because they were already nervous about you finding out the real them to begin with, which is why they wear their masks. That kind of came out convoluted. Their mask comes from childhood trauma that gave them this disorder. But the comfort for them being behind the mask is that you won't know the truth about them. The minute they start to dole out the bad behavior and you're collecting all these things and you see all these things and you're bringing it up to them, now they're having to look at their own reflection. They're having to look at their own reality of themselves. They're this horrible person that just did this horrible thing to a very loving person who didn't deserve it. They understand that. And when I think about that they don't feel guilt or remorse over it, but they feel shameful that you found that out. And God forbid other people around will find that out. That is their nightmare. To be toppled in the eyes of those around him and you. They're very concerned with how they are perceived by others. So if you bring about the truth of what they do to you, they panic. The truth of themselves could only bring about shame. And how could it not? The narcissist avoids this as much as possible. Whenever I'd go to say out loud the narcissist that I dated's behavior, he'd try to shush me. Because towards the end, I'd go to say it out loud, his behavior. Like if we were eating with friends of his and he'd try to shush me, I'd come out with the truth right in front of them. Mortifying for him. Tough. I did it anyway. They're wondering at the lunch table why you haven't seen me. Where have I been? Well, guess what he's been up to? I'm not saying I went into detail, but you had to see his face. All right, shh. Do you have to... Shh. Oh, God. Like really uncomfortable. And they're more concerned with how they look in the world than with how they're treating people in the world, including you. In fact, oftentimes, the chosen person that the narcissist picks on is the only one who has it so bad. The narcissist lays it on thick, the grand treatment for everyone else within earshot. He has those people thinking they're funny and the life of the party and the nicest person ever. And you have nobody who sees this person in their true rotten way. You're the only one. And now you want to bring it to their attention, Renee? I was like, oh my God, now you want to talk about it? So I pointed out this behavior, said it out loud to his, making him talk about making him really, really delve into the shame of it all. It never goes well. Of course it was never going to go well. No talk with a narcissist bringing up a shameful act they've done is going to go well. They're already full of so much self-loathing and hatred. Some people say these acts they do are to sabotage things that they know are going to go wrong anyway. They enter the relationship knowing when you see the truth of them, it will be over because their truth is horrid. So the minute the mask drops, they know it's over. And that's many times why there'll be a whole slew of very shameful acts to follow the first one. You've already seen them now, right? So when I think about how they're not proud they got caught and that they can and do feel shame, that's what they say, just not guilt. I think the fact that they don't want anyone seeing them as anything less than stellar gives you a lot of ammunition to really let them have it. There's no other way to say that. I'm not inciting violence. I don't mean pick a fight. But they treat the ones closest to them the worst, usually. And I'm not sure why that is. Convenience, maybe? Or they bet on you not going anywhere regardless of what they do because they've already tested the waters with little things and you made it through love bombing and they've hooked you already. They count on that. So they build their stock with you so that they know that they're at a point that you won't leave them anyway. And that's where a lot of the control comes in. And that's why I say, so shame them. Let's shame them. It works. If for nothing else, I begin doing it. If for nothing else, it shuts them up really quietly. Because they get uncomfortable. Wait, what did she just say out loud in front of people? Uh-huh. So-and-so said that she went to lunch with the four of you here 2 weeks ago. I wrote it down. No, we didn't. Oh, really? Because that's what she said to me. They're going to stick by and have the person's back and all of this. But I didn't want anyone thinking I was walking around a fool and didn't have the information. It was important to me to save that little face for myself. Now, that's a selfish motive. But I wanted people to know that, yes, he pulled the wool over my eyes, but guess what? I found out. And I do know. And I'm sitting here in front of you, a knowledgeable person. And I'm not saying to shame them just to get the fun out of it. But if you're looking for a way to let the narcissist know that you've had enough and you won't be taking anymore, that's something that you can do. I've done it with peripheral narcissists as well. Now, I didn't say that. I didn't really. And when somebody's around, I'll say, well, actually, this is what they did. Say you get a mediator. I've had that. I've been a mediator for people and I've had a mediator. And you sit there because that's when you don't want to be in someone's company anymore without a witness. That's what I think of a mediator as. But we know their job, right? Okay, you said this. Okay, did you hear them speak? And blah, blah, blah. Okay, that can be very... Shame them. Make them wear that behavior in front of somebody else. Shame them, whether it's the therapist's office. Now, I'm not asking you to get in trouble. Okay, there was never any danger for me physically. I was never in any physical danger at any point in my life with anyone that I've dated. So that was not my concern. Many of you, that can be your concern. Or I'm not trying to incite you to have an argument with them so that you have to be in an argument all night and be called names. I don't want you abused in any way. In any way. But it definitely can shift the power balance a little bit once they know that you will speak truthfully of their ex to other people, their people. And I don't think that it will change their behavior. It might curb it from you. They might be done. And that's when maybe they'll go try to pick on somebody else. Would that be the worst thing? Would that be the worst thing? Definitely once I started to shame mine out loud, I knew there was no way he'd ever be with me again, which is what my goal was. I didn't want him to be. I knew that in my head. I just had to go through the motions and wean myself off. You know, I know some of you can't employ this because you know danger could ensue, like I said, and we don't want that. But try little things. That's how I started. Be truthful of how they treat you in front of them, in front of their people. I didn't so much with my people because the details embarrassed me so much. But make your narcissist hear you saying to someone else about what they did to you. Mine just kept going, oh, come on now. And I'd say, what, that didn't happen? We have to talk about... No, we don't have to talk about it. I just want to make sure that they knew, that I knew. I want them to know. It was important to me for these people to know what kind of character this cat was. It's not just purely a malicious intent. I was angry. I was hurt. But I didn't want anyone else having the wool pulled over their eyes by this person. In being fooled to thinking this person was all that. I wanted to be the one to say, look, there are some things you don't know about this person that you will never know about this person, and I'm going to tell you what they are. And I would do it in front of him. I definitely knew it was the end. I kept asking him to go away. He kept coming back around, and maybe he'd say, do you want to grab lunch? So-and-so's in town. A couple of times I said yes, and I used that hour and a half to my advantage. I don't want... And now, after he left, again, there might have been more smearing. Do you believe she's crazy? Never, but I don't care. Shame them. It works. I feel like their true character reveals itself eventually with all people. But if somebody can get a heads up on the snake-like behavior that they exhibited towards you, they might want that behavior said to them. Maybe this person is going into business with your narcissist, and you just saved them from entering into a business with a shady individual. Because the way people behave in their life counts. Everywhere. Every pocket counts. So I wouldn't hold back. And he was shady, and sure enough, nobody's seen him around these parts in a long time. And I shamed him to bring out to the forefront the parts of him that he hated. He was squirming. Physically. Shifted all around, uncomfortable. It was awesome. I know that's terrible. I should go to confession, but it was enjoyable watching him sweat. And again, with a peripheral narcissist of mine, I did the same thing, tried to have a conversation with a third party involved, and they get very nervous if you go to tell the truth about what they've done to you. Another peripheral narcissist in my life, who's not really in my life anymore, but they had gotten a new person around them, they would not let me alone with their new person. Why? Because they think I'm going to reveal some truths that will shame that narcissist. They are embarrassed about behavior they've bestowed upon me, and they've literally not given me a moment to be able to do that. Now, I'm not out to do that to a narcissist for the rest of their life. If they're not in my life, they're not bothering me, that's fine. But you're going to keep coming around, you're going to keep trying to devalue me, you're going to keep trying... Guess what? Here's a tool that you can use. It's mean. It is. But when you do it, you'll get a couple of reactions. One is, shh, don't say that. That's what my partner said. The peripheral narcissist was ready to throw down. So you'll get different reactions. I just sit and watch. I would say my piece, and then I just sit and watch. I only spoke words, not even combatively, when I did this with the peripheral narcissist who was ready to throw down. But they did not want their truth revealed. I even had a conversation with somebody that's a peripheral narcissist in my life, and they didn't even want to hear it about themselves. They said, no, this conversation's done. They couldn't even hear their own truth. And it was truth. It was not, I was not subjectively just throwing out rhetoric. I was stating some objective facts. They didn't like them. To hear them about themselves, they literally stopped the conversation. They said, this is the end of the conversation. And, you know, the satisfaction of seeing them squirm a little bit over something that they did wrong to you, it lasted about 30 seconds. And then you look and you see the true desire on their faces just for you to shut up. And then you're reminded that they're mean people. That's why they'll deny whatever they do and try to blame you for things going sour. There is a shameful behavior. Theirs is a shameful behavior, and they know that. They just choose not to stop themselves. Right? Shame is a very powerful weapon. And again, I'm not promoting fighting, but if you need a tool at some point, don't forget about this. They can be shamed. And it's a very powerful tool. Remember, they feel a very deep self-loathing, and they live with that all the time. That shame is built in already. So use it if you need to. And I'm so bad. This is terrible advice. But again, I'm not trying to make you have more trouble, because I'm snarky, but I was never in physical danger. But I just know that shame is a powerful weapon. When I was in nursery school, I brought a doll home. I didn't understand that that wasn't my doll. And my mother made me, the next day, take it back to the teacher. It wasn't good enough I could just put it back. I had to walk up to the teacher, tell her what I did, explain that I knew it was wrong, and say that I was sorry. And I really didn't remember that lesson until it was about, I don't know, like a year ago. I was talking with my mother, and she's hardcore, man. We were talking about this other family. They're having trouble with their teenage child. Ma, what would you do? These are their problems. They're having all these. My mother just looked at me and she goes, shame them. And I thought of the doll story. I go, that's why you did that. She said, it's something people don't forget. Shame is a feeling. If someone makes you feel that, you never forget it. I'll never forget taking that doll up to the teacher and I had to say, I'm sorry. And some people might not agree with that advice. I'll never forget it. And I thought of it with this narcissist, and I wanted to let you know it's a very powerful tool. It's one that I wouldn't employ if you're trying to be with them still. It's going to make your life difficult. Or maybe employ it if you are staying with them still. If you know you're not in danger and you're like, oh, I just want to shut him up. I just want to, or her. I just want to let them know, like, I know the truth. I want to let them know in front of somebody. Now they know your truth. Like, you can leak it out in little, it doesn't have to be a big announcement. But I know that the narcissist hates their own truth. And if you bring it up in front of others, it could give you a little empowerment. And maybe make them curb their behavior and be not so bad the next time if you're stuck in it. If they know that you're now releasing that information. You know, I'm not out to slander anybody, but if somebody asks me questions, you know what I mean? Like if somebody is gathering flying monkeys and smearing me behind my back and going through the whole process of doing that because they can't take blame for anything and they don't want what they did exposed, they get to work over all these people, charming all these people in order to head off your declarations at the past. That's not fair. It's entertaining to watch, but it takes just the right amount, just the moment where you can align your thoughts to interject the whole process and then let somebody know, guess what? There's another truth here. Because a lot of times smearing can be bigger than you and you get exhausted and you don't feel like fighting it. That's the way to go. They say don't even entertaining it. But if you're living in it and it's still happening, say their truth out loud to somebody. I didn't just sit quietly. I didn't tell anybody my details. Nobody needs to know that. But I certainly let it be known that it was not a mutually respective situation. I don't know. You could even make it into a joke. Think of a quick one-liner. If you're not in danger, I can't say that enough because I'm not trying to incite a dangerous environment. But I'm trying to let you know, don't be afraid to speak their truth in front of them. They hate their own truth. They will be shamed, but that's not your problem. Their truth is not your problem. When I revealed someone's truth, not the narcissist that I dated, another person, in recent years, I revealed their truth. They flipped out because I was speaking it out loud in front of people they didn't want to know. I said, did you want to tell them what happened? That's not what happened? Say what happened then. I won't take any more from people. I think you can tell. And you probably sense right now that this topic gets me aggravated because we are put through so much. And I just want to always give you any tool that I can think of to maybe get a little power back for yourself or shut them down, even if just for the afternoon you're sick of hearing it. Shame them. Speak their truth out loud. It's very powerful. I just want to mention it. I know it sounds mean. So I'll go to confession. What can I tell you? I'm after your health, not theirs. Please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share, and I'll see you next time.